Hey everybody, welcome back to BuQeye BBQ. Today we are going to fire up the Lonestar Grillz offset and we're going to do a picanha roast. I plan to reverse sear it, so we'll put it on the smoker until it reaches about 110 degrees internal, and then we're going to open up the top of the firebox and sear it off before we put it back on the smoker to get to our 130-ish internal temperature that we like here at our house. So looking forward to doing this. I've done several picanhas. I've never done a whole roast before, so hoping this turns out good. So I'm going to take you back a few hours now to prepping the picanha roast, which I actually did very little to, just a marinade, and then we'll come back and get our pit lit and get this picanha roast going. So we will bring you back. Thanks for joining. Okay, so here's our picanha roast that we are going to get to marinating. One of the things that makes picanha so good is the fat cap that is always on them. So we're going to leave that intact. This is a Porter Road picanha, so it's dry aged. I really like Porter Road in general. I don't think I've ever had the picanha from them though, so this will be a new experience. Though I'm going to leave the fat cap intact, it is pretty thick here, so I am going to just score this, which is not something I normally do, but I want the marinade to be able to penetrate a little bit, and I want to help it render once it's on our smoker today. So I'm just gonna sort of do a diamond pattern. And again, I don't usually cut into the fat like this. I'm going to on this one though. There we go. And I'm going to get this out of the way and get just a Ziploc style bag. And I think I'm going to get my glove out of the way. So this will end up marinating probably about 6 hours today before it goes on our cooker, which will be plenty. I like to marinate with this particular marinade at least 4 hours, and longer is fine too. So as far as this marinade goes, it's soy sauce, olive oil, black pepper, and garlic. And I've got a separate video showing how I put this marinade together, and it is my favorite beef marinade. So we're just going to pour that in the Ziploc bag, and then just try to push the air out of it as best we can without making a giant mess. And there we go. So we'll just mix that around a little bit, and this is going to go on a cookie sheet into the refrigerator. And because I'm available to do so off and on today, I will flip this back and forth and just make sure that marinade gets all over the picanha roast. And we'll see you in 5 or 6 hours, and we'll get this thing on the Lonestar Grillz offset smoker. So we'll bring you back. Okay, so we're going to start our fire today with a handful, probably 20 or so Kingsford briquettes. So I've just got my chimney here. I'm going to light the fire starter, and we're just going to let this go, and we'll get this dumped into our firebox and get an oak split on it after that. Oak is what we're going to use today for our picanha roast, and we'll go from there. So we'll bring you back in a little while. Thanks as usual for joining. Okay, we are going to get our coals in our fire management bucket here, so they are ready to go. And last time I did this, I dropped them out all over the ground, so I'm going to be a little more careful this time. And did it again, but oh well, it's fine. So we're going to grab our rake, move this around just a bit. And I've got an oak split we're going to start with and get that going. Right now I've got the entire smoker open to let that split light, and then we'll get it closed down and we'll think about getting our meat on. So we'll bring you back. Okay, the Lonestar Grillz is coming up to temperature. I have got our marinated picanha roast here, so we're going to get this out and get it ready. So what I'm going to do here is take it out of the bag. Try to keep my one hand clean. There we go. Smells great. And now I'm just going to pat this dry. You definitely want to get it as dry as possible to help that fat render, especially while it's on the smoker. And I think scoring the top of the picanha is going to help that fat render and the marinade to penetrate the meat better. I can definitely see it down in those cracks. So traditionally picanhas only seasoned with a coarse salt. Like I've used sea salt in the past, so this is sort of a different take on it. By the way, neat little trick here. If you double glove, then you have another clean gloved hand. So we're going to get this out to the Lonestar Grillz, get it put on the rack, and get our ThermoWorks probe in it so we can monitor the temperature. So we will see you outside. Okay, here we go. We're going to get our picanha going. Put this lid open. Got a nice smoke. Temperature's right at 225, which is kind of where I want it. I'm going to do this a little lower and slower, at least to start. Get my ThermoWorks probe through the probe hole in the side of the Lonestar Grillz. And we're just going to get that sitting on there in the middle. Get our probe kind of in the thickest part, in the center of the roast. And we'll turn on our ThermoWorks. And it's showing immediately about 33.5 degrees internal to the picanha, so that's just about what I would have thought it would be. And we're going to get the lid shut and watch the temperature, and we'll bring you back. Okay, I thought I'd bring you back real quick. We're at 75 degrees, just under 75, 74.8 degrees internal. The cooker is holding beautifully at 225. It's been anywhere from 220 to 240-ish. I've added one log, one oak split, and it's really just been holding nicely. I'm really pleased with the Lonestar Grillz offset here and the way it holds temperature. I thought we'd just go ahead and take a look, see how it is looking. That's beautiful. I love that color, that smoky color. The fat is rendering nicely. Really soft. Yeah, I am going to get this lid closed and let this keep going. It's looking great though. So at about 25 to 35 degrees internal temperature increase, I will bring you back and we will get this thing ready to sear off on the grill grate above the firebox. So we'll bring you back. Okay, so here's where we are. Our picanha roast is at about 103 degrees internal, and our cooker is running balls on at 225, which is nice. I just added a couple of splits. I want to get the flame up in the firebox because we're about to sear this off. And I'm going to start the searing process a little early. I normally like to do about 110 degrees, but I want to be sure not to overcook this. I'd rather put it back on the smoker after it's seared off if I have to get it up to our 130 degree range, than take a chance on it going over. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to put this on the grate on the firebox. So let's take a look at it, and then I'll get the camera reset and we'll get this seared off. Man, that is gorgeous looking. I'm going to go ahead and pull the probe out of it for now. And there's our picanha roast. I hope you can see that. It's really, really beautiful. So we'll get the camera reset and we'll get ready to move this over to the grates right over the fire, and we'll get it seared off. So I'll bring you right back. Okay, so we're going to sear off our picanha roast now. I'm expecting some pretty high flames here, so I've got my glove on, and I'll get it off of there pretty quickly when I need to. Fire is probably a little higher than I would like it, but we're going to make it work, so get ready for the fireworks. So I'm going to put this meat side down first, and when we flip it is when I really anticipate some fireworks. So we're going to let this go an estimated 2 minutes maybe, and then we're going to flip it over, and we're really going to tend it closely at that point because that fat is going to go nutty. So I'll probably fast forward the video through this part, so keep an eye on this and we'll get it done together. Then I'm going to get it back on the smoker and get the thermometer back in it and take it up to about 130 internal before I let it rest. Alright, so here we go. We're going to flip this over. It looks really nice after searing it. So I'm going to let that fat crisp up, and then we're going to probably flip it back over to the meat side, let it go for maybe another 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'm going to get it back onto the smoking side of this cooker and get the ThermoWorks probe thermometer plugged back into it to monitor the temperature for what I'm guessing will be the last 15 minutes of the cook. I sort of love that flame. I think it's going to be great for that fat cap. Alright. Alright, we are calling this. Oops. That's beautiful. So we're going to get this closed down, the grate, and we'll get this back on the smoker and get our temperature probe plugged back in. So we'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, so we have got our picanha back on the smoking side. The sear went great. The flames weren't quite as bad as I thought they might be. And we're going to get the temperature probe back in, about the center. And we'll see what it's running. Okay, it looks like it's running about 114, almost 115. So that's great. We've got about 15 degrees and we're going to pull this. And so we'll bring you back in what I'm thinking will be 15-20 minutes maybe. Alright, we are right at 130, which is our target temperature here at our house. And the nice thing about the picanha roast is that's 130 in the middle. It'll creep up maybe to 132, 133, but the edges will be a little more done. So if you have people in the family that like it a little differently, this is a nice roast for that. Hold that there. Hope you can see that pretty well. We'll get a better shot inside as well, but it looks gorgeous. So we will get this inside and let it rest for a minute, and we will bring you back. We'll cut into her. Alright, so we have rested our picanha roast and we're ready to cut into it. So as I remember, the grain was going this way. So I'm going to cut this right down the center, and we'll cut slices in the same way and see how we did. Knife's going through it like butter. Alright, let's see how it looks. Oh, Beautiful. Perfect temperature. Again, this is right about where the thermometer was, and in fact I think I might be able to see the hole, maybe not, but it's cooked to 130, probably carried over to 132-ish, something like that. But along each edge you'll have a little higher temperature. So if you have people that like it a little more done, it's perfect. So I'm just going to cut a couple of slices here. That one was kind of thin. Cut that one a little bit thicker. I've done picanha a few different ways, but I've never done the whole roast. I've wanted to for a long time. And this looks really good. I'm just gonna take a bite of this. Man, that's good. And there's really something special about the fat cap on a picanha. It's really meant to be served with it on. You could trim off a little bit if you wanted, but traditionally it's served with it on. That is outstanding. I'm going to go ahead and take my gloves off. And see if I can just adjust the camera on the fly. Maybe I'll edit this out, maybe I won't, we'll see. There we go. Alright, so again I've got a couple of pieces sliced up here. Really good. We'll give it a try on camera. That's so good. You could do a sandwich out of that, slices. One of the best ways I've ever done it was cut it into steaks first and then cook them off. I've got a video of that, but doing it whole is great too. I got this picanha from Porter Road. Porter Road has great ones. You might not find it in your local grocery store depending on where you are. I don't think we would ever find one here at the local grocery store where we are, but Porter Road will ship you one in a couple of days. Price is pretty good and you can't beat it. So thanks for joining me on this cook today. I will see you next time. Do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.